Hi guys, it's Anne here, and today's video is going to be a little different. I was planning on doing a get ready with me at some point, and well, today's the day that I'm going to do that. And I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about when I was, in my mind planning that at the beginning of this month. However, I definitely want to do a video talking about coronavirus. It's on my mind. I feel like I need to do this video. I need to talk about it. I need to talk about some things. And I haven't seen too many other YouTubers talk about this yet, which I'm pretty sure, like I know a lot of other YouTubers haven't really addressed this, but I'm sure part of it's probably because A, they already have scheduled content. B, I think a lot of YouTubers are trying to keep things positive, and keep YouTube as a space to kind of escape some of what's going on, or at least try and keep some normalcy. I think that's something that's really important that we need to do. However, for me right now, like this video, again, it might not be the most positive video, but I felt like I need to talk about some things, and I'm hoping if I'm talking about some things, maybe that will help some other people deal with what they're dealing with right now, because we're all in this together, but not together, because social distancing, you know what I mean? So it is Sunday morning. I'm going to try and get this video up later today, and I think the date is March 15th. I'm just going to do my makeup. If I don't mention a product, I'm going to list it down below. I'm pretty much 99% using my Project Pan stuff. Again, maybe a little bit less about makeup, more about what I'm talking about, but I feel like I need to do something as well, rather than just talk to the camera. So I'm just putting some primer on. I'm using my Project Pan primer. It's the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. I'm using the Benefit Boiing Brightening concealer under my eyes. So to start off, I'm in Toronto, so I'm in a major hub, which is a bit of a cause for concern for me. I've been following the news. I've been pretty obsessed with the news pretty much since Donald Trump became president. I know that sounds really bad. He lives rent-free in my head. It's a problem. I won't go too much into that, I hope. But I do follow the news fairly closely, and I've been watching this and kind of swaying between, things are not good. And when Italy started having a problem, it was kind of like, well, what makes us think we're any different? Like, we had low numbers, but I felt like nobody was really, it was like, oh, it's happening over in Europe and Italy and Iran, and we'll be okay here in North America. Then we started seeing some cases, and that's when things started getting a little more obsessive for me. So I'm actually going to put a little chart on the screen. I've started building a chart. I have a blog post from a week ago Friday, I think it is. I'm going to be putting up a blog post tomorrow as well. Again, slightly obsessed with this. I know, it's a problem. I'm just going in with my Rimmel 25-hour lasting finish foundation in the shade 103 Ivory. In Ontario specifically, we've had a spike. We've had a spike in numbers over literally the past, I want to say 4 days. The little chart that I put up will show that. And that's concerning, because it's like, this is here, and I think our government was a little slow on the uptake. I think there was some sort of fallacy that we're different for some reason. And like I said, I've been following this closely, and I feel like in the past week, Italy has been literally screaming at us, particularly in North America, saying, get your shit together, or you're going to have the same problem that we're having. Where it started in Lombardy, as far as I understand, they have some really state-of-the-art medical facilities. I think there's like training hospitals there and such. So it's not like some country where they don't have resources. And I think that was maybe, I don't know what some people think. For me here in Toronto, there were sort of two tipping points where I started like, and again, I don't want to say panicking, but started really taking this seriously. There was a guy that was sick. I don't know, he traveled to Las Vegas, and he came home, and he was on the TTC, which is our like transit, and he was sick when he was on TTC, and then he eventually like went to the hospital and was a positive test case. So I was like, okay, no transit for me. I actually went and checked, so we have like a Presto card in Toronto, and I went back and checked what my travel history was, because I was like, I know I did take the TTC. I do in general avoid it anyway, because I kind of avoid people in general. So this sort of self-isolation is maybe not that difficult for me in terms of behavior. Oh, no, what's going on over here? Can you see that? I wonder if this is, I'm wearing a new, I had to open up a new moisturizer, and I'm wondering if things are combining. Weird. Okay, sorry I had to fix that. So again, I was fine. I didn't take any routes that he had taken, like at all. I was on a streetcar once, and that was it. So I was like, okay. And that's the last time I've been on transit. So that was like 2 weeks ago now. We had a case where there was a conference here at our Toronto Convention Center, and it was the Prospector and Developers Conference, where people from all around the world came to. So, and then a guy got sick. And to me, that was the first case of, oh, I'm going to get some weird lighting here because of reflection. I might have to move a little. And I was kind of annoyed at our health officials because they kept saying, oh, it's not community transfer. We know that there was people that were international at this conference, and he must have got it from there. And I was like, if you don't know exactly who he got it from, it's community transfer. Like, you can't say it's definitely not community transfer. Maybe you're still investigating, because maybe he hasn't, explained, because the guy hadn't traveled anywhere. And again, he hadn't had any close contact, like with a family member or somebody that had it. So to me, that was community transfer. And that was like a big wake-up call to be like, guys, we need to get on this. And again, I was kind of annoyed at our health officials for not taking it seriously. So I've tried to move a little so that sun is not... It's pretty early. Like I said, I wanted to film this and get this out. I apologize if this video, it's probably going to be super freaking long. I have like a list of things that I want to make sure that I touch upon. So those two issues in Toronto kind of made me wake up a little bit. I also have a coworker that, bless her heart, she's been kind of on this since the beginning. And I feel like people were not really taking her seriously. I was trying to pay attention, but I'm thankful, that I was sort of listening to her, because I would say since like late February or mid-February, I started stocking up. So I never had to go out and do the panic buy that a ton of people did, which for me, one of the things that's causing me sort of different emotions, including feeling stressed, is people. People are idiots. This whole toilet paper fiasco, I'm super annoyed. And no offense to Americans, a lot of times we see stuff happening in the States and we're like, Canadians aren't like that, we're so nice. No, Canadians are effing stupid. We had the same problems here where people were hoarding toilet paper and hand sanitizer. We had people try and resell things on eBay and Amazon and get shut down here in Canada. So we're no better. We're just all a bunch of idiots too. So, I was glad I was kind of listening to that coworker, because I've been just, again, as I go grocery shopping, instead of buying maybe one thing of frozen veg, I'm like, let's buy 2 things of frozen veg. And I sort of kept a box with non-perishables that was kind of my, if you suddenly get quarantined, there's enough food in this box that you'll be okay for 2 weeks. It's going to be real boring because you're just going to be eating pasta and beans, but whatever. So the one thing that's been stressing me out a little bit is my dad was in Florida. And he's actually driving back. He started driving back today. He called me on Friday. Well, we talked earlier in the week, and he's like, well, I don't know, things are okay. We were just texting. Again, I was trying not to panic him, make him feel stressed out, make him feel like he needed to do something that he wasn't comfortable with. Because I know, if I had kind of forced him, if I was like, you gotta get home, blah, 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 he'd be like, you're freaking out, shut up, and it would probably build resistance. So I was just trying to, touch base with him, see how he's doing. And then we talked Friday, and he's like, your uncle's coming back. My uncle had already left, I think, on Thursday night. The couple that he spends most of his time with were leaving on Sunday, and he had already been planning to go see another couple friend of his, but that was supposed to be on Tuesday or something. And he's like, well, I don't know if they're going to come back or not. And then we kind of eventually got to the point where he's like, you know what? I'm going to drive home on Sunday. And I was like, great idea. Drive home on Sunday. I feel like angry and frustrated for him, because he is feeling angry and frustrated because he really just wanted to enjoy his time in Florida. He had been taking an extended trip this time. Like each year he's been trying to take a little bit more time in Florida. Next year he really wanted to take like 3 months, I think, or at least a couple full months. And now it's all cut short, and he's frustrated because he's not feeling affected by it yet. He's like, oh, I have to. And I think the thing that maybe scared him the most is he might get stuck in the States. And again, no offense to Americans, but your healthcare is shit. So when my mom passed away, she was in healthcare in Austria, and they had, again, good healthcare, but we had a big wake-up call in terms of like dealing with insurance in a different country and healthcare and how complicated it can be. And that was in Austria. I can't imagine in the US what that would be like. It would be a lot more difficult. So he doesn't want to get stuck in the US, and he doesn't want to get sick in the US, which I don't blame him. So he's driving home. And I know my dad, he is already in like Georgia, I think. He's probably going to get home like midnight tonight. He's probably just driving straight. I think he has enough fear in him right now that he's like, I just want to get home. I just want to get home. And I want him to just get home. The other thing too that I feel really bad about, and he's upset about, is I'm like, when you get home, you have to quarantine. He's like, well, I was going to go home to the family home. I'm like, no, you can't, you shouldn't go there because my brother lives there. And if you're sick, you're going to get him sick. Like that's one of the biggest things is families are getting families sick. He's like, okay, I'm going to go stay at my apartment. And I was like, that's a better idea. You can stay at your apartment. Call my other brother. He can go pick up groceries for you and just drop them off at your door. But you need to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. And I just feel so bad for him for that, because that's going to be really hard on my dad. Like my dad's, again, not Mr. Super Social, but he has his routines. He does what he does, and he loves work too. And I know he wanted to go back to work, and I'm like, you can't. You got to tell your work, I can't come in. I mean, his work luckily is very, very understanding as far as I've learned through my dad. They seem to be very understanding. So there's that. So anyway, like, again, it's been a bit frustrating. This is a time where I wish my mom was around. Not that she could help in any sense, in any better way, but at least I feel like I would have somebody to talk to about this, other than like my coworkers or friends. Like somebody, I think my mom would understand. I feel like my mom would have been similar to me, being like, keep an eye on things, not really overreacting, maybe start preparing a little bit, but then realizing like the severity of the situation. And I think that's the thing that's really hard here, well, at least in Toronto. So I kind of want to talk about my day yesterday, because it was a very interesting day. I had a gym class booked, and I was kind of ho-humming, like, do I cancel? Do I not cancel? Do I cancel? Do I not cancel? I was really looking forward to the class. It's with an instructor that I really, really like, and I haven't been able to take any of his classes in a while, just timing. I was like, oh, I don't want to cancel. And I actually told him that I was going, like, early in the week, like, I want to say, like, Monday, Tuesday. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to your class. And as the week went on, I was getting more anxious and worried, and like, what do I do? What do I do? So I decided to go. It was an early morning class. I kind of had like a game plan when I went out. So I decided to I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to swing by work because it was Saturday. Nobody's going to be there, to pick up some stuff. Watered the plants. Swing by a couple stores on my way home. Just kind of like a last hurrah of normalcy before I really try and like limit the amount of times that I go out, or when I go out, and how I go out, or why I go out. That makes sense. So I did go to class, and my game plan was like, okay, I washed my hands before I left. It's still cold here, so I put my mittens on, and I go outside, and I just don't touch your face. So the entire walk there, I'm like, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. I was pretty obsessive about it. And let's talk about makeup for a quick second. The eye look I'm going to do is something that I did recently, and I really, really liked how it worked. So I'm using my NYX Ultimate Palette. I'm using this little NARS single that I got in the shade Himalia. Yeah, I think it's Himalaya. It's not spelled like Himalayan, but it's Himalaya, I believe. And then the SugarPill Twins palette. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to try and make it maybe a little bit more punchy than I did last time. So anyway, I wash my hands, go out, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. I got there, washed my hands like a crazy person. Did my thing, wash my hands, go up to class. The entire class, I kind of, which is not hard for me, stayed away from other people. Because I generally do that anyway. I kind of generally like go to the back and like hide and use like an end machine and try and like not be near other people. And then so the interesting thing was, I thought maybe the class would be pretty dead. I was like, class, like there's going to be a lot of people that have canceled. It was actually busier. I mean, it was still like not full, thank God, but it was busier than I thought. And I'm going to be honest, everybody there was young. There was maybe a couple people I would say mid-30s. Majority I would have said were between 20 and 30, hands down. And that made me nervous because I feel like perhaps younger people are not taking this seriously and I get from the perspective of, well, if you get sick, you're probably going to be fine. Even if I get sick, it's probably going to suck because I do have asthma, and I know I got a chest cold, I want to say February last year, I can't remember exactly, and it was awful. I couldn't walk 2 steps without being out of breath. Like, it felt terrible. So I know if I do get this, I'm probably going to suffer. But again, I probably will be okay. Like, I probably won't need to go to ICU or anything, I hope. But it's not about that. Again, it's not about you. It's not about me as an individual. And this is where I've been struggling with some people thinking I'm being selfish and like, oh, I don't want to get sick from other people and I'm staying home. It's like, no, it's not about me. It's about what can I do to help prevent the spread of this. And again, it's going to spread. A lot of us are going to get sick. But if we can avoid all getting sick at the same time and overloading the system, then that's the point. And I'm not sure people are getting that yet. So anyway, I was surprised that there was quite a number of people there, like, and just at the gym in general. And again, it was pretty much all young people. When I finished the class, again, I was like, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. Finished the class, immediately went down and like scrubbed the shit out of my hands, which I think destroyed. I think with all this hand washing, I think I've broke my Fitbit. It was already kind of breaking anyway, but my Fitbit's dead. There was only one other girl that did the same thing that I did. And I was like, wow, nobody here is taking this seriously. Nobody else came down. Like, I thought, oh, there's going to be a line up to like wash your hands because everyone's going to be like, wash your hands, wash your hands. Nope. I was the only one other than this other girl. I mean, I'm sure there was a couple of people that came later to wash their hands, but like, ooh, people get with the program. So the shade I'm using here is called Cloud Maker. This shade is beautiful. Can you see that? It is beautiful. I'm loving this shade. The only shade I haven't tried in this palette is Twinkle Twinkle, and sorry, there's 2 shades I haven't tried. Twinkle Twinkle, which is let me just show you. I haven't tried this shade yet, and I haven't tried this shade yet, but these 4, loving them. I'm really loving this palette. Spoiler alert for my palette review at the end of the month. So that made me a little upset because I feel like honestly, people like myself who are going to try and self-isolate, like, we're making sacrifices for other people, and there's clearly a lot of people out there that are not. And that was an interesting thing. So like I said, I kind of did a roundabout tour downtown, going to a couple stores. Again, like, after I washed my hands in the gym and went out, I was like, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. And I had my gloves on most of the time, and I was like super hyper aware of everything that I was doing with like my hands and my face, which is really annoying because you don't know how much you touch your face until you're told not to. So I was surprised at how normalish everything was. I expected it to be much quieter. I would say it was like a quiet Saturday. So in Toronto, it's funny, weekends are so different than weekdays, or they're very different than when there's no event on. Like, people are like, oh, Toronto's so busy. I'm like, no, you come down when there's an event and you make it busy. On a Saturday, it was like a typical Saturday where there was nothing, like no events planned, no parades, no baseball games, like no concerts. Like, it was just an ordinary sort of like quiet early spring Saturday, which I found very interesting. I found it very interesting. So I'm just using that NARS eyeshadow. Again, love this. Beautiful eyeshadow. I bought it specifically because the color looked like, when I was in high school, I used to use a Maybelline eyeshadow. In my mind, it looked like this. It was maybe not as intense as this, but it was this sort of brown taupe, and like true brown taupe. I have a few other shadows, but they either lean warm or more too gray, whereas this feels, at least in my mind, exactly like that eyeshadow that I used to love in high school. So I was surprised at how normal it was, how many people were still out and about, and that kind of weirded me out a little, to be honest. I was expecting it to be quieter. As far as I understand, I saw a few friends posting online and their neighborhoods were a bit quieter. The grocery stores on Saturday were quieter because Thursday, Friday, it was a shit show here. It was just the exact same. So that was the other thing. On Friday in Toronto, at a grocery store downtown, somebody pulled a gun on somebody else. Again, people freak me out. Again, I'm less worried about the We are self-isolating, and it sounds ridiculous. I'm less worried about this freaking virus. I'm more worried about people freaking out, behavior being bizarre. My faith in humanity is pretty low right now because I thought we were better than that. I thought people were better than that, and clearly they're not, which makes me pretty upset, to be honest. That's one thing I'm feeling right now is I'm pretty upset in terms of how people are reacting. Again, I'm trying not to panic. I'm trying not to overreact, but I feel like, again, when I was talking to people earlier, like even Wednesday, Thursday, and I was like, listen, I think next week I'm going to work from home. I think that's probably the right thing to do, assuming it's okay with my management, which it should be. There shouldn't be any issue. And I think people thought I was overreacting, which made me feel really like self-conscious. I felt like I was swinging between, am I overreacting or whatever? I mean, it's just a virus. You'll be fine. You wash your hands. If you get sick, you get sick. The thing that's making me nervous is I don't want to get sick and unintentionally infect somebody else, and then I infect somebody else, and then their like mother or grandmother gets sick and like needs ICU or dies. There's no need for me to be a part of that chain. If I can, like I keep saying, it's like I'm removing myself from the equation. I can work from home. So I do feel, one of the things is I do feel pretty lucky. I can work from home. Like there's nothing about my job that necessitates me being in the office full time. I can work from home. I live on my own. It's a little lonely because I have no pets right now. My foster cat, if you didn't see, I did post a little thing on my Instagram. My foster cat's gone to a new foster home, which actually is kind of good. As I said in that little video, she was 90% sweet, 10% bitey. She was just a very difficult cat. She required a lot of attention, and I think in the small space in my condo it was getting, I think for both of us, it wasn't working. And it was really hard. I'm gonna do a video on fostering at some point. It was hard. It was hard to give her up, but I know she went to a home that was good for her, so I'm hoping that it's gonna work out for her. Otherwise, what would end up happening with her is she becomes what they call a working cat. It means she goes to a barn, a farm. Not a barn. Well, maybe it's a barn. I think, honestly, with a cat like her, she might actually appreciate that. And, I mean, it's all vetted. It's like a, sort of like a cat sanctuary type place. Anyway, I think if I were home with a cat, it would not have been pretty. I mean, it is a little bit lonely being home by yourself. But I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a loner. I can go 3 or 4 days without leaving my house, no problem. Particularly in the wintertime. I mean, I find it's going to be harder right now. It's going to be harder if this is prolonged. But I know in the wintertime, I've gone home like on a Friday, and if it's a long weekend, not left the house until Tuesday morning. Like I will fully admit to that, and not really cared. Even if I needed something, I'm like, well, I do need this because I was going to make this, but maybe I'll just eat like this weird smorgasbord of leftovers. Like I will make excuses in my head to not leave if I don't have to. So that's something I do want to talk about though, is mental health with all this. I don't talk a lot about mental health. I kind of touch upon it here and there. I don't want to get too much into my own personal mental health, but I do know this type of trying to self-isolate can be very difficult if you already struggle with even just this whole thing. If you struggle with anxiety, depression, OCD, this situation can really magnify those feelings. And that's something I'm a little concerned about. Like I said, I have no problem staying at home, but then I can also, I wouldn't say I'm an I don't have agoraphobia or agoraphobia. Agoraphobia, where you're like, you never leave the house, but there's a part of me that could. And, I've just got to be careful on that. So my current game plan, as it will, I'm still working. I'm working from home. I'm comfortable working from home. I'm going to talk about that in a little second, but I'm going to limit going outside. I'm still going to go out, probably go for early morning walks or runs. I want to get, I've been getting back into running, which is a whole nother story I won't get into. Again, the social distancing, I feel like if I'm outside and it's quiet outside and, when I come home, immediately wash my hands and don't touch anything, till I wash my hands. I should be okay. That's kind of my game plan right now, but we'll see. Working from home. Let's talk about that. I'm gonna do my eyebrows right now. They need some attention. They're looking pretty crazy. So I've had jobs where I've worked from home pretty much full time. I'm comfortable working from home. Again, it helps that I'm by myself and I don't really have any real distractions. It's gonna be harder for people that have kids at home because I know that they've closed the schools here in Ontario for the next 3 weeks. So that's gonna be really challenging. So your challenge is finding a workspace where you can focus. So if that means, your workspace is in the bedroom, away from a TV, that's my advice. Like, make sure you're away from a TV particularly. You may need to change your habits on your computer in terms of focusing, like not constantly checking, especially right now. Like, I feel like I'm constantly checking social media to see what's happening. Like, I feel being hyper aware of everything right now. I feel like I'm constantly checking like Twitter and Reddit and news websites and the John Hopkins website. I'm somewhat obsessed. Focusing. So finding a place where you can definitely focus. Sometimes I find just ambient music is helpful. Take breaks. So use like a timer or something to give yourself breaks, and be conscious of when you start the day and when you end the day. So for me, starting the day is the most important. Do things that as if you were going to work, like have a shower, make your bed, get dressed. Definitely get dressed. You can put comfy pants on, but at least put something like normal on top, particularly if you're doing web conference calls. Do your makeup. If you do your makeup, you need to have that like, I'm starting my day type routine. Check in with people. So if it's checking in with your boss or your employees, just check in. It doesn't have to be intrusive. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It could just be like, how you doing today? What are you working on? Or if you're like an employee to your manager, it's like, hey, I'm online if you need me. I'm currently working on this assignment right now. Like, something even as simple as that can be helpful. Again, take regular breaks. I can be that type of person that can get tunnel vision and uber focused on something, and then like 4 hours go by and I'm like, I've barely blinked and I haven't moved. Like, it's weird. Apparently I might have ADHD, but anyway, I haven't been diagnosed. So yeah, take breaks, and commit to yourself to when your end of day is. So like, if you're online at 8 in the morning, maybe your end of day is 4, 5, or 6, whatever your hours are, and commit to that. Log off your work. Try and be diligent about that, because it can be tempting to just keep checking your email, keep checking online, keep working. I think, so for me, for work, I feel like I'm going to be okay. I've been a bit stressed about a particular situation because it was dependent on, not dependent, but a big component of it was like in-person meetings and sort of on-site visits. That's probably not going to happen now. So we need to find a way to at least pull together enough information, at least to complete the work. And I feel bad because it's with a vendor, and I want to make sure this vendor does get paid. Like, so that's going to be a big issue for people that are independent contractors, artists. I follow a lot of artists online, and a lot of them are freaking out because they make a lot of money off of like conferences and meet and greets, and obviously all of those are being canceled. So again, I'm going to try and do my best to make sure this work gets done. But I don't know about you guys, this is different. Even though I've worked from home, this situation is entirely different. I'm finding it really hard to focus on work because I kind of feel like work doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I know it matters, but it doesn't. The people that really matter right now are nurses and hospitals and frontline workers and people that can't work from home. So again, I know that like I can work from home. I know not everybody has that luxury. I know a lot of people are working on jobs or working in situations. I'm well aware of, like I said, the luck that I have in my situation, and that I have the ability to, again, remove myself from the equation. That's the thing I can do. And that's what I keep focusing on. It's like, what can I do to help mitigate this, to help make it not become an Italy situation? Because I'm listening to Italy, you're crying out and you're just like, save yourselves. And I think maybe with Europe, with some of the other countries like Spain and France are really starting to see issues. It might be They might be able to curtail it a little bit, but I feel like North America, we've had a huge heads up. Like, let's be realistic with this. It's hard because, yeah, we aren't seeing the numbers here yet, but that when you do see the numbers, it's too late. So it is preventative. And nobody really, people don't do things that are preventative. It's just not in our nature. If you don't see it, we react. We're more reactive than proactive, I think, as a human nature, human population. Okay, I think that's as good as the eyebrows are gonna get. So yeah, work is gonna be interesting. The other thing too is finding different ways to connect. I'm a little frustrated because I feel like my work has not been very supportive in things like working from home, and I think we're trying to play catch up right now. I feel like a lot of my coworkers are going to struggle because they're not used to working from home. So advice for me and for others is to be patient and try and figure out what's going to work for other people. It may take a lot longer to coordinate a web call than you thought it was going to take, particularly the first few days, but it will get easier, I hope. I think that's something that I'm conscious of. Things may not run as smoothly as I want them to, or as timely as I want them to, and to have that patience in coordinating people. Also, I'm supposed to have a job interview this week. I don't know if that's going to go ahead as planned. I'm having some difficulty even focusing on that, even focusing on preparing for it, whether it be in person or virtual. It's just really hard to focus on it. Like I said, this is a totally different situation than just normal remote work. It's like there are bigger things happening now. Trying to act like everything's normal and just go in for your interview and whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to prepare. I'm trying to do some stuff to prepare, but it's not easy. I'm feeling it might get canceled. I won't be upset if it gets canceled. I know I've talked about this in previous videos of me like trying to change my job and trying to find something new. At this point, it's not a priority. At this point, it's like, let's just get through this, folks. There's enough going on that I just want to focus on what I need to focus on to keep my own work, current work, functioning and myself functioning. So the one thing I want to talk about right now too is, like I said, so my game plan right now is I am somewhat self-isolating. I'm working from home. I'm not going to go out as much as I did before, but I'm kind of concerned. So I'm in Toronto, and if other people aren't taking this seriously, if things kind of go sideways, I don't want to be quarantined. I'm really worried about that. I'm really worried about lockdown and quarantine, especially being in a big city. I do have it in the back of my mind that potentially I will go home. So my family home is like in a smaller town and it's away from the city. It might be something I'm considering. I don't want it to get to that, and I'm worried about, like I said, I'm worried about other people. I'm worried about how other people are reacting to this and dealing with this. I mean, I can only control my own behavior and control myself. I can't control what other people decide to do. So one thing, okay, so this is the part where if you're not political, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna get political on you. I'm super annoyed. I am annoyed at our own politics. I feel like our Prime Minister didn't take this seriously until his wife contracted it, and I think they were like, oh shit, like this is more prevalent than we thought it was. Yeah, dumbasses, it is. And our own premier was like, oh, go enjoy your March break vacations. Partially, I think he said it as like a auto response, not really thinking, but again, not really thinking, not great. The other thing is, I don't know what's happening in other provinces, but I know in Ontario, they made an announcement of spending money on fucking advertisements. I don't know who decided that. Not the right move. This is just my black eye pencil. I'm just highlighting with this, but I'm going to use a different liner as well to try and get back to makeup and calm myself down. We don't need the money towards advertisements. We need the money towards a hospital. So this is my issue with Ontario. In Ontario, we're lucky. We do have healthcare. We have OHIP. People here aren't going to be paying out of pocket. We're not going to have any issues like insurance, companies gouging and things like that. We're over capacity in like all of our hospitals. It's already a known issue called hallway medicine because we don't have enough beds for regular issues. If people start getting really sick and if people start needing ICUs, we're screwed. We don't have the resources for that. And that's where I'm concerned from our province. It's not that we don't have the ability to care for people. We don't have the ability to care for lots of people. That's the problem. And that's what's happening in Italy right now. They have to make a choice between, do we, put our resources towards this person or towards this person? Nobody wants to make that decision. And I don't want us to be in that situation. I feel like maybe I'm overreacting and making this way more serious than it is, but Italy happened really quick. We're seeing the numbers in Ontario, like, really swooping up. Like, it's exponential, folks. It's not linear. I mean, yeah, it was real low for a while. This is where I want to get even more political that people won't like. But I partially blame the US on this, and not the US in general. Your stupid ass administration. Donald Trump being concerned about his stupid numbers because he wasn't testing people. We had people, Canadians travel to the States all the time. It's right there. We love you. We love the States. We love, cheaper food, and you guys have a lot more. I mean, if I want to talk about makeup, you have a lot more makeup than we have. We love coming to the States. But people were coming back to Ontario. So this is what happened over the past couple weeks. We had somebody that was in Hawaii, although I'm pretty sure she probably flew through San Francisco, so that's maybe where she got it. We had somebody come back from Vegas. We had somebody come back from Colorado. None of those places were identified as having any cases at that point, I don't think, or very few cases. And again, I think the lack of testing in the States has affected us as Canadians. So that's where I'm super annoyed and pissed off at your administration. And if you guys don't vote Donald Trump out, I'll be so annoyed. I'm still annoyed that he got in the first place. Because anybody that had any sense, I understood, so I remember talking to a friend about this way back then, and I understood the whole mentality of he was anti-establishment, he might be able to shake things up. I think that was a rosy colored glasses look at it. Oh, my battery's dying. I'm gonna have to change my battery. Just a second. Okay, so we're back. I can't remember where I left off. I think I left off freaking out about the US and lack of testing. I was doing eyeliner and I forgot that I was filming, so I just was adding some more eyeliner. This is the Milani Hooked on Espresso liner. Really like this liner. Not too happy about that. And I feel for you. I feel for Americans for this, because it's not fair to you guys either. Not knowing is not helpful. Not knowing is, again, I think there's far more people that have been affected than we know. And again, the repercussions, look at Italy. They were just told, relax, make sure you wash your hands, but it'll be fine. And it's not fine. And I think, again, there's this fallacy that somehow North America is different. And I don't know why we keep thinking that. I mean, the only thing that I did point out in my blog last week is Canadians are a little more distributed a little bit, so that might help us, but it's not going to help Toronto or Vancouver, and I'm in Toronto, so it won't help the major hubs, but at least it might help some of the smaller communities. So anyway, so I'm kind of annoyed that the testing in the States has affected us, and it's, like I said, it's affecting the US too. And I'm worried about, so there's a few things I'm worried about, long-term repercussions on that is there's a lot of people that can't work from home. There's a lot of people that their livelihoods are being destroyed right now because, I know there's a lot of artists or writers, their conferences are being canceled. The way they make their money is all being canceled. So how are they going to make their money? To pay rent, to pay their mortgage, to buy food. I think we're not quite aware yet in terms of what those repercussions are going to be. I think that's scary. And I just think, so this is the way my brain works, I think of weird things are we going to get to a point where kids these days growing up are going to watch movies and be like, hey, look in the movie, they're shaking hands, how stupid. Is that what's going to happen? Are we going to have, are things going to really shift in a weird way that we can't foresee yet? Are we going to fundamentally change as human nature? And I hope not. So there's two things I hope out of this. One is that we get back to some normalcy in that respect, We are humans. We need human contact. I'm hoping things go back to events are still scheduled and people still hug each other and shake hands and all that stuff. That kind of normalcy. But I do hope this means that we have other changes. So again, Americans, you need universal health care. I don't know what people are playing at, thinking that you don't need it, or that it's bad or it's socialist. I am sorry, you need it. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of socialism. I think any Canadian is kind of, well, I shouldn't say that, and I won't get down that road, but I think this also should maybe help companies change in terms of sick leave, paid sick leave, working from home policies, giving people the tools to be able to work remotely, which is the one thing that's frustrating the poop out of me right now, because I don't think my work is ready for that. Like, they haven't prepared people properly for that. They've partway gotten people there, but definitely not fully. Like, there's still a lot more that they could do. And it just annoys me that it takes a freaking emergency to push these issues, to show how on the edge people are of complete catastrophe in their own lives. And it's like, you have these freaking billionaires out there that they're really untouched by all of this, and that's wrong. Like, that is wrong. The saying "you're only as strong as your weakest member" is true, and I'm not sure that really resonates yet with people. I'm worried for the future of how people are going to get out of this. How, again, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a bit more of a positive person. I'm trying to say in my head, well, if we kind of keep things on the down low for the next 2 to 3 weeks, let's just calm down. Everybody just stay at home for a little bit. Go out when you need to, do what you need to do, but don't put yourself in, harm's way, kind of thing. That maybe we get through this unscathed. I think I'm being uber positive about that, but I hope not. I'm just hoping that we've gotten ahead of this enough in North America, at least in Canada, that we're not really suffering too much long term. But that's my worry. Just finishing up my makeup here. I'm gonna go fix my hair, and then we'll see what's left to fix here. Still need to do my lips, and then I'll try and wrap up this video. It's probably gonna be about an hour long, and I apologize. Okay, last thing to do, I'm just gonna do my lips, and I'm using mostly my Project Pan things. I don't have my lip gloss right here, but I'll probably put that on later. Yeah, so I need to wrap up this video, basically. See, this is what that primer does. It like wipes out the color of my lips. Doesn't really feel that great. Again, I don't know what the point of this NYX lip primer is, but whatever. I keep using it. Gonna finish it up. Kind of want to just leave it there, but maybe put a little bit of this on. Okay, I think I've said enough to get off my chest a lot of the things that I'm thinking and feeling right now. And I guess the one thing I wanted to say to kind of wrap this up is, like, I've been on Twitter and Reddit, like I said, and other social media, and just seeing what people are saying, and people are feeling a lot of different things right now, and I think whatever you're feeling is okay. If you're feeling scared or anxious, or worried or stressed, I think that's normal. I think it's okay. I think we need to, again, be realistic, be as calm as we can, be as helpful as we can in whatever way that we can. I think if you're an employer, stop being stupid, be realistic. Actually, that's something. Let's end this on a bit of a positive note, or one of the positive things that I want to share. So, like I said, I did a final little tour yesterday, and I did stop in at Marshall's on my way home. There was 2 girls working there, and they were standing very far apart. One girl had gloves on. The other girl was like, "Oh, my hands are so dry from washing." Like, they were talking about like what they're trying to do. I feel bad for them. I feel bad that they were working, but at the same time, I'm sure part of that is like they need to work. They need to make money. So. That was kind of one of the reasons why I was there. Is like, well, like, let them know that hopefully you will be able to continue to work. It just might be a bit slower. Again, my hope is it might be a little bit slower for the next couple weeks, but we can ride that out, and then maybe things will be a little easier after that. But I did want to share a couple things that I did buy at Marshall's. So I'm not sure how well this will show up on camera. I maybe put in a picture of me wearing it. This is just like a running jacket. I don't know if it has a name, if they call it anything. It's from New Balance. I just thought, so like, I have been picking up my running, but I've been doing it at the gym, but now I want to, I guess, move that outdoors, which I really don't like running outside. It's harder, I feel like, and it's cold still, so I bought that jacket to maybe help motivate me and help make me feel like I'm a bit of a runner, because it looks like I'm a runner when I wear it, because I suck at running. So I bought that. I bought a new phone case, so I probably switch up my phone case about once a year, I think, at this rate, considering I've had my phone since 2017, so this will be my third phone case. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put this on in the summertime, hopefully, but it was really pretty. It's from Nanette Lepore. My other two are Kate Spade ones, but I really liked this one, so I'm happy to have that. And the third thing I bought, a lot of you are gonna laugh at me for this one. I bought it. I swear there's been signs, and like, I don't mean that as a pun, there has been signs that I've needed to buy this. I have seen this come up in 3 videos over the past week. 3 different people. So Leah McDonald and her weekly stash pick, and she does like a little roulette with her palettes. This came up. Lauren Made Beauty was talking about her palette collection, and this came up, and again, both like she was raving about it. And then another YouTuber, I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now, she was doing a like revisiting old makeup, and this was in the thumbnail, and I was like, yep, okay, I'm gonna pick that up if I go out, which I did. Like I said, I went out and then I kind of did a tour. I picked up some snacks as well, so that was the other thing too. Don't feel guilty about, I bought chocolate, I bought ice cream, and I bought chips, because I'm feeling pretty shitty right now. Feeling shitty for everything, so there's nothing wrong with a little bit of food that makes you feel better, especially if you're gonna be in isolation. I think there's nothing wrong with, you know, getting a treat that makes you feel better. So yeah, I just wanted to share those few things. Again, the palette's like, well, the world's going up in flames. $12 on that palette is not the end of the world for me. And yeah, again, maybe it was just a bit of it was a comfort purchase for sure. It was definitely a comfort purchase, which, yeah, like I said, I'm curious to know how you're feeling. I'm curious to know what's going on where you are. Did you try go shopping on Friday? Are you out of toilet paper? I hope not. That's one thing that annoys the poop out of me, no pun intended. Like, I have an 8-roll thing of toilet paper. So I normally buy like a 16-roll when I have a car, but I haven't had a car for a while, and I had to get toilet paper a few weeks ago. So I actually picked the toilet paper up like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm finally opening that pack. So I have 8 rolls. So hopefully I'm okay for that for a little while. And it's like, okay, let's not go crazy, people. Supply is not totally diminished. It looks like China is starting to level out a little bit. How true that is, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I guess my thing is too, like, if you're feeling like you're overreacting, it's okay. You might be, but it's okay. Maybe in this situation, it's okay to overreact and be a little more cautious than you normally would be. If you're feeling alone or you're feeling scared, you know, again, it's okay. However you're feeling right now is okay. I guess my only advice is to try and stay calm. Try and focus on the good things, whatever that is in your life. I think, again, this is going to hit some people harder than others, just even emotionally. That's something that's scary, I think, for a lot of people, especially, like I said, if you struggle with anything. This is probably a big trigger for those types of emotions and mental health. So yeah, I'm curious to know what are things like where you are. Like I said, Toronto right now, Sundays are generally quiet in Toronto. Like, people are always surprised at how quiet it can be in the city, and I've seen it where it's been quiet. The quietest I've ever seen it was when we had G20 here. I was actually away for most of it, but when I came home, I remember we went out to just try and get a coffee, and we couldn't. There was no coffee places were open, and it was dead. There was like nobody downtown. The only people we saw were police officers. It was bizarre, and I've never seen that since. So I hope it doesn't get to that here. Again, that's one of my worries. I hope, you know, maybe things are a little bit quieter here because people are being more cautious, but we don't get to a point where we need to quarantine or lock down. Not looking forward to that if that has to happen, but I mean, if it has to happen, it has to happen. But I'm hoping we can avoid that. But I'm hoping we're being proactive enough at this point. I mean, we might have missed the boat a little bit, but we haven't missed the boat entirely, I don't think. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, how you're feeling, what's going on with you. What are you doing right now? Are you doing anything, like, or is life as normal? Have you changed any behaviors? What's going on with your work? Is your work being supportive with this? Are you worried about, like, is your work dependent to the point where if people are isolating or a lockdown happens, it's actually really going to affect you? At this point, I'm not sure. I'd like to do some live videos, live chats. I've never done a live chat before, so I don't know how to do it. But depending on how things go, I think it might be a nice thing to do, especially if some of us are isolated. Like I'm all on my own, so it can get lonely. I've been there. It can definitely get lonely being by yourself for an extended period of time. Like I said, I'm a bit of a loner, so for the most part, I'm not too worried about that. But again, that's mostly because I've been in control of it. I've chosen to, like, take quiet weekends by myself, but you know, there may come a point where it's not a choice anymore, and that's difficult. And I know some people don't do very well being separated from other people, so I know that's hard on a lot of people. Anyway, hopefully, again, I feel like I'm babbling right now. I don't really have anything else to say. We're all in this together. I wish I could be more positive. I wish I could help other people. My mindset right now is for me to stay healthy, so that if the need arises that I need to help other people, I can. But yeah, so just want to say a big shout out to all the doctors and nurses and health facilities out there. You're doing your best. You guys are going to take the brunt of this, and we all love you and appreciate you. So anyway, that's it for my video. I really do hope you have a good day and you're doing okay. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.